It's May 6th, 2025, just past midnight. Jeremiah Fowler sits hunched over his laptop in his dimly lit home office, running another routine scan for exposed databases floating in the digital void. What he discovers will set off a chain of events that culminates in what experts are calling the largest credential leak in internet history. Fowler is no ordinary researcher. He's what the cybersecurity world calls a breach hunter, someone who systematically scours the internet for accidentally exposed databases, a digital detective searching for companies' worst nightmares made public. On this particular night, his automated tools ping back with something unusual: an Elasticsearch database sitting completely unprotected on the web, containing millions of records. But Fowler doesn't know yet that this discovery is just the opening act of a much larger drama. What makes Fowler's find so chilling isn't just the size, it's the contents. Unlike most breaches where passwords are encrypted or hashed, this database contains everything in plain text: usernames, passwords, direct login URLs. It's what Fowler later describes as a cyber criminal's dream working list. The data spans virtually every major platform you can imagine: Apple iCloud accounts, Google credentials, Facebook logins, Microsoft Office 365 access, even banking portals and government systems from many countries. In a sample of records, Fowler finds accounts from Facebook, Google, and hundreds more from Discord, Instagram, and Roblox. What Fowler doesn't realize is that he's looking at the tip of an iceberg that's about to surface in ways no one could have predicted. 6 weeks later, the real bombshell drops. Vilius Petkauskas, deputy editor at Cyber News in Lithuania, publishes what will become one of the most controversial cybersecurity reports of the decade. His team claims to have discovered not one database, but multiple separate datasets containing a staggering number of compromised credentials. This is not just a leak, it's a blueprint for mass exploitation. The Cyber News team declares, these aren't just old breaches being recycled. This is fresh, weaponizable intelligence at scale. The datasets, briefly exposed through unsecured Elasticsearch instances and cloud storage buckets, contain login information for Apple, Google, Facebook, GitHub, Telegram, and even government services. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Both Fowler's May discovery and the massive June revelation share a common thread: InfoStealer malware. These aren't your grandfather's computer viruses. InfoStealers are sophisticated programs designed to silently harvest everything of value from infected devices: saved passwords, browser cookies, session tokens, credit card numbers, even cryptocurrency wallet keys. They operate in the shadows, invisible to most users, systematically looting digital lives. The most dominant families have names that sound like comic book villains: Luma, Redline, Raccoon, SteelC, Vidar. They're sold on underground markets for as little as a few dollars, democratizing cybercrime in ways that should terrify anyone with an online account. What happens next reveals just how murky the world of cybersecurity intelligence can be. Within days of the Cyber News announcement, major media outlets pick up the story. Forbes runs headlines about massive password leaks. The Times of India warns of a cybersecurity nightmare. Government agencies scramble to respond. India's Computer Emergency Response Team, CERT-IN, issues an official advisory urging citizens to immediately change passwords and enable multi-factor authentication. The advisory warns of severe risk of unauthorized account access, identity theft, phishing, and a range of other cyber attacks. But not everyone is convinced. Bob Diachenko, the cybersecurity researcher who helped verify Fowler's original discovery, raises a crucial clarification that gets lost in the media frenzy. There was no centralized data breach at any of these companies. The credentials didn't come from hacking Apple or Google directly, but from malware stealing login information as users access these sites. Then, Group IB's threat intelligence team drops their own bombshell: after conducting what they call an in-depth analysis of samples from the alleged dataset, they reach a startling conclusion. This isn't a fresh breach at all. Every sample reviewed by Group IB points to historic Stealer log records rather than fresh compromised data, their analysis reveals. No credential in their sample was first recorded in 2025, with the newest verified compromise dating back to the previous year. The Group IB analysis exposes uncomfortable truths about the cybersecurity industry itself. The figure, they suggest, is massively inflated by duplicates, recycled data, and credentials pulled from years-old breaches. Hudson Rock, another threat intelligence firm, points out that their database already contains billions of records from Stealer logs dating back years. Chester Wisniewski, a director at Sophos, puts it bluntly. These massive dumps have been announced for years, and they are always a recycled pile of credentials, with a few new ones sprinkled in. The controversy reaches a crescendo when Cyberscoop publishes an investigation titled "The Password Breach Story is a Farce," arguing that the original research doesn't pass a sniff test. Piecing together the evidence from multiple sources, a more nuanced picture emerges. The credentials aren't entirely fake, but they're not what the initial headlines suggested either. Instead, they represent what security researchers call a compilation of many breaches, a massive aggregation of stolen data from multiple sources over several years. Think of it as the cyber criminal equivalent of a greatest hits album, with old breaches from Yahoo, LinkedIn, and Adobe mixed with fresh Stealer logs from ongoing malware campaigns, all bundled together and briefly exposed on misconfigured servers. The Portuguese word senha for password, found in Fowler's original database, provides a clue about the operation's origins, suggesting the data likely represents years of credential harvesting by Portuguese or Brazilian cybercriminals using InfoStealer malware to systematically compromise devices worldwide. Here's the unsettling truth. Whether the credentials are new or recycled misses the point entirely, because the real story is how easily massive collections of stolen passwords end up exposed on the open internet, ready for any cybercriminal to exploit. Alon Gal from Hudson Rock has tracked InfoStealer infections inside major U.S. defense contractors, Army and Navy personnel, and even FBI offices. While Keela's research found that most InfoStealer infections target personal devices, which often become gateways into corporate networks through remote work arrangements. The credential marketplace has become so efficient that stolen passwords regularly surface on dark web forums within hours of being harvested, and password reuse, a habit researchers say affects a majority of internet users, means that a single compromised account can unlock multiple services. As July 2025 draws to a close, the debate over the credentials continues in cybersecurity circles, but the controversy has already served a purpose by forcing a long overdue conversation about the scale of credential theft happening right under our noses. Government agencies from India to Australia have issued advisories. Major tech companies are pushing users toward passwordless authentication like passkeys, and security firms are racing to update their breach detection tools. Meanwhile, InfoStealer infections continue climbing at a staggering rate, and the malware families that enabled this crisis, Llama, Redline, Raccoon, are evolving faster than defenses can keep up. The story of the credentials reveals an uncomfortable truth about our digital age. The line between hacked and not hacked has become meaningless. In a world where malware can silently harvest credentials from millions of devices, where stolen passwords circulate on underground markets like commodities, and where a single misconfigured database can expose the digital lives of billions, we're all living through a slow-motion cybersecurity apocalypse. Jeremiah Fowler's late-night discovery in May was just one glimpse into a vast underground economy built on stolen digital identities. Whether those credentials represent the largest breach ever, or simply the largest compilation ever discovered, is ultimately irrelevant. What matters is this: somewhere in those databases, your password is probably waiting to be found. The question isn't whether you've been compromised, it's whether you're ready for when you find out you have been.